2017, and we have an update for you on our DWC, our complete hydroponic system, which comes in this tiny little retail package that has everything you need except sunshine and water. It comes with the nutrients, the growing medium, germination kit, the solar panel, solar pump, and a newer generation, which I'm about to explain to you, comes with an electrical pump as well, and some new additions that will have you growing faster and healthier with less issues as well. So the new system, we incorporate a growing medium called perlite. It's readily available at your local nursery, Home Depot, Lowe's, things of that nature, or places of that nature. And you're going to be growing pretty much the same way as a traditional DWC, but the difference is, which is awesome, is that you're going to be able to either grow traditionally with just water, or this way, this new method, you're going to be able to grow from a potted plant. So you don't have to wait for the seedling or germination process, and you don't have to start from a seed. So you kind of speed up the process if you choose to. And you can start from a potted plant like so, either 3-inch up to probably up to 5-inch plant, and speed up your process. So for instance, like this tomato here was started from a potted plant. We didn't want to wait for the germination phase and wait for a seedling, so we started from a potted plant. And this is actually called Better Boy Hybrid Tomatoes. And there you go. There's Better Boy tomatoes in just over 2 months. Much faster than the germination process, and a lot less maintenance, a lot less growing problems like bacteria, root rot. And for you other people that are growing a wide variety of plants, you want to minimize root rot. And that's a major problem in the hydroponic community. That being said, why do you want to grow hydroponically? Well, let me briefly tell you why we started this system or created this system. One, hydroponically has been made to be very complicated and complex and expensive. So if you were to walk into a hydroponic store today and you want to experiment and start growing hydroponically, you're probably not going to walk out of that store for less than $300. There's a plethora of hundreds of nutrients, and you have no idea what to choose from. There's a plethora of systems that are big and bulky, and again, you have no idea what to choose from. So essentially that becomes a very expensive experiment. With Growmanji, it is small, inexpensive, and everything is included. There's no guesswork involved for you. But, so going back to our system here, we upgraded to a Generation 2, which is going to be more versatile and less maintenance on your part, and eliminates a lot of the things I just previously mentioned, like root rot, bacteria, and things like that. So how it works is you're going to do the same things, the same setup like you do with the traditional system. So if you already have the system, you can also transition to this if you already have the system. If you don't, you'll probably be getting this system with everything for the Generation 1 and everything, all the equipment needed for Generation 2. So it all comes together like you did with the previous instructions. Now you're going to get a filter bag, a 1-gallon filter bag. It has a little hole that's marked black on here. This is a dirty, used bag, and why we're showing you that is because let you know it is reusable. After you've planted, I'm going to show you exactly how you take it apart. But so essentially what you do is you're going to put together you're going to have your air stone in your tube just like you normally do in the regular system, or if this is new to you, your air stone is going to be on the tube. The tube is going to go down into the bottom of the bag. The bottom of the reservoir. You're going to go through the little black hole that it's marked for you, and you're going to feed it through from the outside to the inside. It's going to hang out like that. Put your hand in the bag. This goes down into the reservoir. You're going to want your air stone kind of in the middle, as close to the middle of the reservoir as possible. That way when the air is produced out of there, it has room to go at a circumference both sides and all around. So now you're going to fold over your filter bag about 1 inch over the sides here, just like so. So the setup is normal and the same as traditional DWC, which is deep water culture for you people that are new to this. Filter bag goes in here like so. Now you're going to place this in the system just like you normally would, and you're going to put your wrap around the reservoir. What is the wrap? The wrap is a neoprene wrap that is just like your typical bear koozie. What it does is it insulates the reservoir, so your reservoir water stays cooler than ambient temperature. The cooler the water temperature, the the higher oxygen content it's going to hold. We probably mentioned that in a previous video, but just letting you know again, if you happen to be watching this for the first time, this is pretty awesome. Nobody else is growing this way. Growmanji is taking things to a new level. Okay, so this goes on, the Velcro hooks up like so. You're going to put your strap on like so. You're going to make sure that you feed this tube through the top so you don't pinch it under the ring, which is a common little slight mistake when you're snapping all together. Not a big deal. Snaps together just like you normally would. Turns 90 degrees, locks it in. Turns 90 degrees, locks it in. You got to stretch this wrap out a little bit. There we go. All right, so now you have your reservoir like so with your filter bag in it. Your air stone is down in the middle there somewhere. What the air stone does, it's going to blow air, obviously. Filter bag is going to keep your medium, which is the perlite, which is a inert mineral that they heat it and it blows up like little tiny pieces of popcorn. So what happens is it traps a lot of air within it. Now, with that air in it, even though it's wet, because of all the air trapped in it, that is reducing the root rot and funguses and bacteria that can affect your roots. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your bag like so. You're going to just make a mess and simply pour in about 3/4 full. Now, 3/4 full if you're going to go with a potted plant, like so. So what you would do is, just for lack of making, or to not make a mess, I'm not going to pull the root ball out of here, but what you would do is you would just flip this upside, squish to the sides like you normally do any potting plant that you want to replant. Take out your root ball like so, and you're going to place that right in the system. Depending on the size of the pot, 3, 4, 5-inch pot, it's going to leave some room in there. So once you put this plant in, we're going to leave it in the pot for now, just for to not make a mess. So now you're going to pour in some more perlite, and you're going to put it around it to fill that void. And then you're also going to make sure there's some right on top of the root ball as well. And then everything else is the same. You hook up to your pump if you're going solar, like so. Solar will handle your aeration during the daytime. Obviously, sun runs the solar panel. You'd be surprised how many people have, a few people, even some firemen who kind of should know it all, don't realize that this actually needs sunshine on it to work, which is pretty funny when they call you and then they walk out into the sun and they say, oh, sorry, problem solved. So, or if you're not going to go that route, or you can go that route and just run daytime, now you can also hook up a timer to this and run both so that you're running solar panel daytime and electric pump nighttime, if you choose to. That's if you get really crazy and into it. Otherwise, you hook up your electric pump, this goes here. Obviously, the solar panel is meant for more outdoors where it's not sheltered, so you can get plenty of sun. It's got a 6-foot cord on it that you can stretch out if you need, if you're growing a plant that requires partial sun or partial shade, depending on how you look at it. And then the solar panel can run on out and get the sun that it needs. Now, electric, obviously, we don't want electric to deal with water. So if you're under a patio where your plant's able to get enough sun and you're able to keep this back, this also will have a good amount of room on your tubing. You can put this back where it stays fairly dry. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry, but kind of out of the element so you don't get water entangled with electricity. And then you're aerating 24 hours a day. The advantage of aerating 24 hours a day there is that now your roots are getting more oxygen, and you're accelerating the growth process, and the plant is growing healthier. Now, fast forward, if you're not growing from a pot and you want to start from the seedling phase, depending on what you're growing, if you have some kind of special plant or seed that you want to grow, in your germination kit that comes with it, you're going to start your seed in the little foam cubes, the Growmafoam, just like this, in your germination tray, or wherever you decide to germinate it at. Now what you're going to do is, rather than the 3/4 full that you previously did for the potted plant, you're now going to, let's flip that around, you're now going to fill that just about to the top, just like so. And what you're going to do is, you're just going to gently take your seedling, you're going to place it right in there. This stuff is pretty soft and pliable. You're going to make sure it's covered, your germination cube is covered. Put some more perlite in there. And voila. And then you're going to add your nutrients just like you did normally. Add the nutrients, germination. With a seed germinated in a seedling, you're going to fill it all the way to the top, just to where you barely see water at the top. A little bit less than a gallon. Normally, the reservoir takes 1.2 gallons when it's without the perlite. So with the perlite, it's going to take about 3/4 of a gallon, roughly. Same method with the potted plant. However, you're going to go to about a half to 3/4 full, because you want that root ball to be able to get plenty of air until the roots start to get established. Now, everything is reusable, pretty much. So what's going to happen is, stand by, don't move. Matter of fact, hang on a second. Here, take a look at what you can grow with it while I go get this other part. You can grow lettuce. You can grow tomatoes like I showed you previously. You can grow sage. You can grow bigger plants. We've gone a Florida hibiscus, which is a 6-foot tall plant. So even though it's only a gallon reservoir, there's lots of things you can grow. And in a third generation that we're coming up with, which will be coming up in the next couple months, is another generation which will have, let me unhook this and I'll show you. So what you're going to have is, you're going to have you can call it a fill hose, you can call it a water line hose. What happens is, the water line is right there. So previously, you'd have to just tactilely feel this to see how heavy it is. If it's heavy, a gallon of water weighs 8 pounds, 8.3. So if it's heavy, you don't need water. Now, you don't have to do any of that because you'll be able to see the water level here. And essentially, you'll know when to add water. Or if you get, if you get really into hydroponics, then you can unhook this hose, like so. Well, you unhook the hose, and then you can just tilt it down. You're going to go down. I don't have a jug here to empty it out, and you empty out the nutrients. What that does is causes kind of a vacuum effect where water's going to rush out. You drain it back into your jug, save it because it's reusable, and air is going to go permeate and go into the perlite again, and basically reoxygenating your reservoir. So your plants, that is what in hydroponics is called a flood and drain. This new generation 2 is basically a transition or a hybrid DWC, which is a deep water culture. So it's a bit of a hybrid, but it's working wonders for eliminating root rot and maintenance of the plants and growing faster. But hang on one second, I'm going to show you another part. All right, okay, I'm back. Quick trip to over there. So, over there, over yonder. So what's going to happen is, after your plant, if you want to reuse it, your plant has gone through its life cycle. Hypothetically, this has gone through its life cycle. You yoke it out, it's now trash or whatever. What you're going to end up with is a filter bag full of perlite, like so. And this was one that we just took out. This was a tomato plant, and that was the root ball that was pre-existing. The root ball still intact, but the roots have outgrown the root ball and has gone throughout the perlite. And miraculously, normally when you waterlog a plant that is in soil, it basically drowns the plant and your plant dies. So with this system, you're able to transition from traditional gardening in a potted plant with soil, and you're able to transition into hydroponics. Why? Because your plants are going to grow faster and grow healthier and less maintenance on your part. So you pull the root ball out, what you're left with is your filter bag with perlite. So as you can see here, we just dump it out into a tray. Yeah, it's got a little bit of soil in there, but what you can do is you can get your hose, rinse this, and reuse it. If you do not wish to do that, you can trash it, throw it in the garden, which is good for your garden. It's actually used for gardening and horticulture and agriculture to aerate the soil. If you don't want to reuse it, it's, like I said, it's readily available at Home Depot in big bags, or we'll also have that available in smaller, more user-friendly bags, so you don't have to buy a gigantic 32 quart bag, or liter bag. Again, I hope that helps you out with the new process, because some of you have emailed us and called us regarding some questions on the new process. But again, Growmanji, we're always improving, always testing. If you pan over to your left over there, you see part of the laboratory, which it's not beautiful, but hey, it's gardening and it's real. That's part of the laboratory where we're always testing new plants, new seeds, new methods. And why? Because obviously we're gardening enthusiasts, and we know you are too. So we want it to be even easier for you. So right now you can get this small box, this retail product that has everything you need, including the nutrients, the pumps, solar panel, solar pump, electric pump, nutrients as well. Also, your old system or generation 1 comes with a net pot. You can still use the net pot with the traditional DWC, the deep water culture. And I've had some people ask me, okay, why is this revolutionary? Hydroponics has been around for a while. Well, it's revolutionary because nobody else is packaging it all this way, so that it takes away the intimidation from you. Again, why pay $300 to $400 for an expensive experiment when you can pay anywhere between $60 and $75, depending on where you find it, for our system, which comes with everything you need, takes all the guesswork out of growing, all in one box, and it works, as you can see by the plants here and the plants on our Facebook, Instagram, or the website. Thanks for watching, and I hope that helps you out. If you have any questions, you can call us, email us, fax us, phone us, tell a friend, tell a fireman, tell us. We'll help you.